Welcome back to the podcast, everybody. Today, my guest is Dominic from Bucky's Pizza in New Jersey. He's going to be joining me to talk about how he started his pizza journey from home baker to pop-up to now brick and mortar, and that brick and mortar is doing really well. I've talked a lot in the past about, I get questions all the time about people starting a pizza business and like, how would I go about it today? And starting from home, verifying the process that you enjoy doing it, and then going to brick and mortar and starting small with limited startup funds, and then going from that to a brick and mortar and growing your marketing and following over time, in my opinion, is the best way to go because it validates your idea and it starts you with as little capital as possible. Dominic from Bucky's did that exact thing, and it's working out for him pretty well. And I'm glad to hear it because I would hate for someone to take my advice and it not work out for them. And again, this is just my advice, but he's doing it. Concept, pop-up, brick and mortar, all of that on this episode of the How You Slice It podcast. Really great conversation about the things he's learned along the way. And before we get into that episode, though, really quick, a word from us. Slice has something great. It's called Slice Referral, slice.com/referral. If you want to make up to $2,000 just by referring your pizza friends to sign up for Slice, you can make $500 when they sign up for online ordering, and then an additional $1,500 if they sign up for Slice family membership or the point of sale system. This is a great way for you as the pizza shop owner to make some extra money just by telling your friends about Slice. Great point of sale system. The family membership also has phones, boxes, online ordering, a website, all that stuff that's going to help you kind of not have to worry about the tech or the phones answering, because that's a big pain in the butt. We all know that. And if you're a pizza shop owner, you do as well. So sign up for that and then tell all your friends about it. Go to slice.com/referral. There'll be a little sheet in there. You have to fill out some information about your friend and what the name of their pizzeria is. And then when they process their first order, boom, you get paid $1,500 or $2,000 just by referring people you know to Slice. Again, slice.com/referral. That's where you send them. Dominic, thank you for joining me on the podcast. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
I'm excited to talk to you. You got a good business going on. I've been following you on Instagram. You got a great story, so I'm excited to share that with you. And before we get into all of the pizza shop happenings, give us a little bit of background and for the people listening about how you got into the pizza business.
Yeah, so I, like many others, started making pizza during the pandemic. I would watch your podcast. I think you're actually one of the first people in the pizza world that I started watching. And, I always filed in the back of my mind that maybe one day, I'd open a pizzeria. Like, I think growing up as a kid, it was always kind of like a dream. But then I went off to college, found myself in corporate America. I ran talent acquisition for a number of ad agencies and tech consulting companies. And then, I started making pizza during COVID. Then I started making sourdough bread. Before I knew it, family members and everyone just started asking me to keep making different things. And as time went on, I became a little bit more tired of the corporate grind. And eventually I found myself laid off 2 weeks before my daughter was born.
Wow.
And at that moment, I just decided that I never wanted to go through that again. And here we are. So I started as a pop-up. I think I actually got that from you. You encourage a lot of people to kind of start small and grow from within, focus on marketing. And that's how it all started.
Yeah, it's amazing how many people, if the pizza business was a person, that person should be so thankful for 2020, the fact that it just made so many people want to get into this business.
Yeah.
I mean, the 2020 was horrible and everything that happened was horrible. Like, there's so many people that were hurt, but like when it comes to the pizza business and being affected by that, it gave so many people like yourselves opportunities to get started.
Yeah, and like the hard part too, I mean, like I never worked in a restaurant a day in my life. So, and then we started, I was working out of my house and, we started really small. I ran out of fridge space really fast. And then we stumbled into the brick and mortar and like the learning curve there was substantial. So
Were you looking
trying to
for a
figure
spot
all
when
that
you
out. It was
like? Were you looking? How did you find your brick and mortar?
so we were doing pop-ups for about a year and a half. We
Okay.
would go to like coffee shops, breweries, and uh, I just started randomly looking, and we were working with a broker and just started looking at like different spaces to come up with a budget for what a build out would look like.
Yeah.
And we just got lucky, I guess. We stumbled across this spot here. Um, we didn't pay a lot of money to get into the space at all. And, it was pretty much turnkey. I redid the floor, I painted everything. I had to rebuild the floor of the walk-in because it was rotted and gross. But you kind of get what you pay for a little bit. But with a little TLC, we turned it around in about like 4 months, and yeah,
That's awesome. So the name of your pizza, is it Bucky's or is it Bucky's Pizza?
it's Bucky's.
Okay, Bucky. So if on Instagram, if you
Yeah,
go Bucky's NJ Pizza,
uh,
you can give them a follow.
yeah, yeah. Bucky's NJ Pizza on Instagram.
Yeah, I go if you're listening to this, you can go check out what they're doing. The pizza looks great. So was it the shop that you found? I have so many questions. You were doing
Yeah,
you
yeah.
were doing you were doing a pop up out of your house. Were you just using your house oven, or did you get like unis or goznis?
No, it was mobile. So I bought a Fontana Forni oven, which is
Okay,
kind of it's a large Gosni or a large uni. Like the baking floor is like 32 by 32 inches. And I started doing everything we do is sourdough. So I was starting with like round pies, and I just kept running into the issue of proofing outside in like the middle of the summer or in
yeah,
the winter. And there were so many different fluctuations that I could never get the dough to stay consistent. And then one day we found a coffee shop, and I think this kind of ties into the marketing bit, but we were trying to focus on other brands that had like an elevated profile, and this coffee shop did. So we thought like this could be a great opportunity for us to tap into a market that we think we would do well in, and have like good association with another like very successful brand. And when we did that, I wanted to do something different, so I switched to Detroit pizza.
okay,
And that, that made things, it simplified a lot from the actual event perspective because I could show up with par bakes, and we were pretty much, you would top them, put them in the oven, 15 minutes or so, they're done. Um, and once I did that, it was really hard to go back to the round pies. So,
so you did. So when you just found a coffee maker, what'd you do? You went into the coffee shop and be like, "Hey, I do pizza pop ups. Can we partner or something?" How'd you approach them?
I think my wife reached out to them on Instagram. Like it was a brand that like we had been customers of. We really liked what they were building, and we just reached out and we were like, if there were any opportunities that ever came up for us to get involved, we'd love to do something with you guys. And then lo and behold, they reached out to us. The owner was doing like a small dinner for an event planning thing.
Yeah,
And he was like, why don't you guys come out? And, it's a small party. It's like 12 people. We did it for free, just to get on their radar. And, they ate the pizza and that was it. Like from there, we scheduled a pop up, and then we were doing them like once or twice a month there.
wow. Outside the place.
Yeah, in their parking lot.
Okay, and then
Yeah.
you used Instagram to get people to know about it.
Yeah, I mean, they would, they put it out to their following also, which I think helped us. But we sold out like pretty much every single one that we did. We would do
Wow,
80 Detroit pizzas in like 2.5 hours in the parking lot, like pretty
that's
much
crazy.
every other Friday. Yeah.
That's pretty good though. That's
And
great.
then yeah, but like the problem is like it starts compounding from there, right? Then you have a private party on Saturday, and you're baking 100 and I don't know, like 150 Detroits in like your house in a standard like household oven, and we ended up on the radio somehow. It was just kind of like luck, and I got interviewed on the Elvis Duran show, and like in the middle of the interview, like my phone started going crazy. Like you could just hear it buzzing and buzzing and buzzing. We like tripled our following on Instagram, and that was shortly after we started the pop ups with the Sunday Motor Co. the coffee shop,
Okay.
and then from that moment on, like every time we went out, it was just like, we couldn't sell enough pizza. So,
That's crazy.
and after doing that for like 2 months, we were like, wow, like we have something here. Let's start looking. Money was really tight. Like, I had gotten laid off. So, my cousin gave me a little bit of money to get started with the pop-ups. And I knew that he had a lot of interest in like the business building over time. And then once we had some success there, it was a matter of finding a few investors to help us out and get us off the ground. So, yeah, we started searching. We stumbled upon the space that we're in now. It's like 2,400 square feet. I was terrified that it was too big. As it turns out, it's too small. But I had an architect come in last week. We're trying to make some changes here to make it a little bit more efficient, and just make better use of the space. So
What's too small about it? The dining room or the kitchen or both?
it's very narrow and long.
Okay.
So like, it has like that typical like L shape, like, a pizzeria from like the 90s would have like a giant slice display.
Yeah.
And what we do is like, that's not really what we do. So, most of the food, it's mostly whole pies. So there's no need for a slice case. We have like 4 sliced pies out at a time. So
So just a
just
lot
a
of
different
space
market.
that's not utilized the best way it could
Yeah.
be for your business.
Yep.
How much did it cost you to start the pop up?
Um, It was probably about 45,000, I think. Like I bought a trailer, I bought an oven, I bought a branded tent, I had to get a generator, like big coolers. I had 2 fridges inside the trailer, like a mobile 3 compartment sink, marketing materials, stuff like that. So all in, it was probably about 45. I probably could have done it cheaper, but I think if I did, it would have been one of those situations where like you quickly outgrow it,
Yeah.
and you're just spending more money to try and fix the problem.
Did you how long did it take you to recoup that money with the mobile unit?
I mean,
Did you ever
I
until
don't.
you transferred into the brick and
Yeah,
mortar?
the business made money, right? Like I think I'd probably still carry some of that debt. Just because we've been spending so much, like it's hard to pay it all off, but
Right.
it's all kind of blended together at this point. Um, but yeah, I think I still have some of it. But the business, I mean, it supported my family, right? Like I had a nice corporate job and we were able to hang on and survive. So
I'm glad that my advice worked. I would hate it if my
yeah,
advice, what I talk about in the podcast, like didn't work and everybody was failing because of it. That's why I'm a little nervous to as the audience grows and people listen to me. I'm a little nervous and hesitant to tell people what to do, and I'm always trying to be like, this is just my advice. This is just like what I would do.
yeah,
You
yeah.
gotta like think for
I'm not a
yourself because I would
financial
hate.
advisor or whatever it
Yeah, I would
is.
hate for people
Yeah,
to
the
take my
disclaimer.
advice just because I said it, not do any due diligence on their own. But so a mobile unit, if you spend 45K to get that going, you could probably make a good living just keeping with the pop-ups, right? You didn't even have
Oh
to go
yeah,
into a
I
brick and
mean,
mortar.
yeah, we would make 6, 8 grand like a weekend, right? Like there's definitely money to be had in mobile. I think some of it was just like, being a hobbyist and then like turning into a business owner, um, having done hundreds of pop-ups, like I would definitely set that up differently now that it would be easier and it would allow us to get out more frequently, with less resistance. Because like I had a trailer, the oven's 700 pounds. I'd roll it in and out of the trailer. Like I built a dolly out of wood and I like attached the oven to it so I can move it around. Like everything about setting up is very labor intensive. You have a giant tent that you have to set up that takes two to
Right.
three people. Like all the tables, like I would definitely have a mobile setup. I would spend a little bit more to get something that like you just pull up, you pop open the side, and you're ready to rip.
Like a
So
trailer more
we're
than a mobile unit.
yeah, like just like custom building it so that it works for what you're doing.
Do you still do like pop-ups and mobile events.
Yeah, and that'll be a big like in the spring and the summer coming up. Like
Yeah.
this was our first summer open with the brick and mortar, so I didn't know what to expect. But now that we're through that, like next summer, I'm going to start focusing on bringing the pop ups and the parties and all of that back. But I want to start targeting different areas that we're interested in for possibly like a brick and mortar 2 or 3, and just see like where we have, um, you know, a following, so to
Yeah.
speak,
How did you make
because
all
that's
was
a
like
big piece of it.
yeah, I was just gonna ask you that. Go ahead.
Like as far as location goes, like we would go to some breweries and like not do great, and not because we didn't have a presence there, but I just think like different demographics like want different things, right? So it took a little bit of time to figure out like the spot that we're in now is like what our customer base is, and like the product that we're offering, be it all sourdough, no seed oils,
Yeah.
no additives. Like I think it takes a certain person to care about some of those things. But we found our home, and the pop-ups, the beauty in that is that you get to test the market before you invest hundreds of thousands of dollars in a space.
Yeah.
So that was my biggest takeaway from mobile, and I wanted to open a brick and mortar from the jump. And the thing that started it all, there was a brewery that opened down the street, and I just stumbled in there one day and I was like, "Hey, do you guys mind if I sell pizza in your parking lot?" They, they had just opened and there was a space next door, and I was like, I was ready to do it, but I had no money to start. And everyone around me, my wife, my family, they said, "Why don't you like start this small and see where it goes first before spending all the money?" And they were right, and so were you.
Did they say yes, the brewery, to let you sell pizza in their parking lot?
Yeah, yeah,
Cool. The only reason I say start small is I've had business failures and I've spent a lot of money
yeah,
on pizza shops that didn't work out. And I don't think, I think we talked about in the, before we hit record on this, I don't think you ever figure it out until you do it. You could listen to a podcast, you could watch a video, you could, talk to people, but even your experience with pop-ups, the knowledge you have after doing it and the information you gathered of how you would do it differently only came by doing it, not by like reading or listening. The only way you learn how to do it better is to do it, fail, and do it again.
yeah,
But that's why I tell people start small, because especially if you've never had any experience, don't imagine if you spent 300K on a restaurant or on a build out and you're like, I've never done this before. You open it and you're like, fuck, everything in here is wrong.
yeah.
I wish I did
Yeah,
everything
well,
differently.
that's exactly what would have happened had I not taken a second gen space, right? Like every
Yeah.
other spot that we were looking at was a full build out. And in my head, like based on the pop ups, I was like, oh, I'll map it out this way. And like it would have been so wrong. Uh,
Yes.
it would have been a very costly mistake. And then, you know, I think the other thing with pop ups is that gives you the opportunity to really build your following before you ever even open your store.
Yeah.
And had we not done that, I think, there's a really good possibility that we would still be growing our following to this day, and like sales would not be what they were. And this conversation would be drastically different. And I think a lot of owners get themselves into trouble when they're relying on people to walk through the door, having just opened the doors, and like nobody knows who they are.
Yeah.
So that's kind of, hindsight's 2020, and I guess I'm fortunate to have gotten that right. But
I mean, you never want to start your marketing when you open the door, because you're gonna be
yeah,
3-4 months behind.
yep,
I mean, unless you could get lucky. There's pizza places out there that I know of that did that and they got lucky,
yeah,
and they're busy right off the bat. But I don't know if I would. Even me, with all my experience in all of my interviews and visiting pizza shops and owning pizzerias, I'm thinking about opening a spot, and I'm still hesitant on a lot of places and like how to do it the right way. Even with all my experience, I couldn't imagine not having any experience in opening a pizza shop. I'd be terrified.
yeah. I don't know. I have analysis paralysis, so I overthink like everything. It
My
was,
wife's like that.
yeah, it was nuts.
I'm thinking back to your pop up days, and you were doing Detroit style pizzas. You made all of those Detroit style pizzas out of your house for the pop ups.
Yeah.
My goodness, what kind What kind of setup did you have at your house? Was your kitchen just like turned into like a pizzeria?
So we had purchased a townhouse like 3 months before I got laid off, and it was, it was spacious, and we had like this space downstairs that was my office that I like kind of turned into a micro bakery.
Okay.
I bought a couple of fridges. I had 80 Lloyd Detroit pans, and
Wow.
I had a 10 kilo Famog mixer that, I would have to run like 7 or 8 mixes to get through the weekend, and like I was just working like, I was working hard, not smart, but yeah. And then when we opened the brick and mortar, I still only had those 80 Lloyd pans, and I had to buy. I have 500 of them now, but it's a big investment
Yeah,
for pans.
that is.
So
I just did a video with a guy in his pie, and he was saying he has. I mean, he doesn't have a lot of pans, and that's his issue. But he has $7,000 worth of pans.
yeah,
It's crazy investment. People don't think of that. They're like $35 each, aren't they?
no,
Something like that.
yeah, I mean, they're the best that are out there, in my opinion, but they come with a price tag. That's
Yeah.
for sure.
Because I'm trying to think of like my wife. I have a kitchen here, and we're trying to. My daughter's super into bread making for the last couple of years, and she's really into sourdough and experimenting. But my kitchen's always a mess because she's always got flour everywhere and bread and all of these things all over the place. And I'm like, how do people do it out of their house? My wife is ready to kill me, and I'm not even like selling it
Uh,
or giving it away.
I thought I was gonna get some papers delivered to me by an attorney a couple of times, but the oven was upstairs in the kitchen, and like that, I would leave for pop-ups, and the house would be like an absolute disaster. Uh,
Was it
but
just a regular house oven?
yeah, it was like a normal like 4 burner like gas stove
That's
and an
crazy.
oven.
I mean, it must
Yeah.
be so easy now in the pizza shop with a proper oven and a proper kitchen to make pizza. You're like, wow, this is easy.
Well, I yes and no, like our mixer's in the kitchen, and it eats up a lot of space to
Uh,
to make the amount of dough that we need. So part of why the architect came was, I'm looking to create a dough room in the back, and get the mixer out of the kitchen to create a little more space in there so that we can expand our menu just a little bit. I don't feel like I want to go crazy, but I think a couple of sandwiches and a few things just to round out our menu would really help, because it's predominantly pizza. Like we have pizza, 2 salads, and meatballs. That's it.
I like it. I like that. I like it to
Yeah,
start that way, at least. Like you said, now you've known what you need to do and you can make a proper prep list and guide everybody and you know how to do all the stuff you're doing now. So now's the time to be like, all right, I think we got this managed. If we want to add one or two things, it won't be that hard now
yeah.
versus
That's
in the
the
beginning.
that's the plan.
Yeah. How
Well,
much did it
I
cost you?
even
My
no,
question to you was, so how much you said that the place you're in now, the brick and mortar, was a second gen? Was it an open business? So did you purchase the building, the business, and then build it out, or did you kind of just use everything that they had?
no, it was here. So it was a pizzeria for like 30 some odd years. And then as that owner got older, they had sold it off to the group that was in here before us. And then they took over, and they struggled,
Yeah,
and they were looking for a, a prayer, I guess, to get out. And I showed up with very little amount of money, and I don't know how I did it, but I mean, we paid $28,000 for the space,
that's it.
and it had everything that I needed in it.
It had the oven and everything.
You know, yeah, I have 4 Baker's Pride decks. Like it was a high volume pizzeria in the 90s. So I got lucky. I don't know.
That's cheap.
Because, yeah. Oh, there was also the security deposit on the lease. So we reassigned the lease to us, and then I had to pay out the security deposit plus the 28,000, and the pizzeria was mine.
Wow, you got a good deal. 20 twenty
Yeah,
four hundred square feet because I've been
yeah,
looking and the prices of some of these second gen pizza shops that people want are ridiculous.
yeah,
I'm not a dumb guy when it comes to pizza shops, so I'll look at it, and if it's worth the price, like I'll go look at it. And I've been to some pizza shops that people are asking 200,000, 175,000. And I walk in and I'm like, I just keep quiet. And the broker's like, what do you think? I'm like, I don't want to say because I'm going to insult the guy, because everything that they're doing here is wrong. And I know why they're selling now. And I wouldn't pay anywhere near what the asking price is.
Yeah, but I mean, that also came with a lot of anxiety too, right? Like, there was a pizzeria that was good, and then they started struggling, and then another one came in and they struggled and never took off. And, what am I doing that's so different that people are going to come?
Well, you're doing I bet you they weren't doing anywhere near close to the style or the quality of pizza you were doing.
No, they weren't. And I kind of knew that, like, in order to stand out in a place, in a town that already has like 5 to 7 other pizzerias, like, the product has to stand out. It has to be different. And I think that's where, the sourdough comes into play. And, we're not using any seed oils. Like, I fry with avocado oil just to, make sure that we're not using seed oils anywhere. And I think that resonated with the audience.
You have to create a product that people are willing to travel to get. There's a lot of average pizza and there's nothing wrong. If you own a pizza shop and you just want to use it to make money and like, it's just a business to you, you're not passionate about actually like making what you and I would consider like a high quality pizza. You just like the commodity you sell is pizza and that's all you care about. Like, there's a lot of those. So if you are going to go into a place that has other places like that and you do something similar to them, you will struggle. It's going to be hard for you to make a product that's similar to everybody else in your area and stand out. You got to do something different.
Yeah, no, I agree.
But that's probably that's why yours is, your pizza is probably much different than the other places in your area.
It is. And it's exactly what you described, right? Like, there's a ton of people that are just selling pizza to sell pizza. And I think the people and the community kind of realize that.
Yeah.
But what we do, everything's high hydration. All the ingredients are, the best that they could possibly be. And our demographic, they all go to New York City every day for work, right? So, like, they have great options available to them while they're at work, but they don't have it where they live. And I think they're craving it, right? So, like, I think there's a market for it. I'm not the only place in New Jersey that I think that this would be successful. But I feel like a lot of the shops that have been around that are just generational haven't really caught on to that.
Yeah. They're a lot of them are kind of struggling because they don't see either they're flat or they're declining. They're not a lot of those pizza shops that have been around unless they're like the super legacy places. Like, every city has that one place that everybody knows. But then there's like the 4 other shops that are similar to that can't be known or aren't known as well. So unless you're like, we'll exclude that one legacy place. If you're the other 3 or 4 shops in the area that are doing something similar, a lot of those places are struggling and they're not, there's no way if you're one of those shops to differentiate yourself other than price. And if that's the only way to differentiate yourself, you're going to struggle.
And they're all doing the antiquated, like the mailers.
Yeah.
Like, you look at their Instagram, like, there's nothing on there. Like, and, I think that's the biggest piece,
Yeah. You aren't doing anything that separates yourself other than exposure or like coupons or combinations. And like, that's not, in my opinion, I could be wrong. And I'm sure people will email me and say like, you're wrong. I'm sure there's outliers, but in my opinion, that's not the way to operate a pizzeria in today's world.
I agree with you.
Unless you want to just unless you want to struggle all day and be worried
all
day.
And,
right?
there's definitely those legacy businesses, or there are the outliers that are successful doing that, but I don't know.
I wouldn't. I think running a pizza shop like the way you're doing it, which is how I would do it, is already hard enough, right? You are doing something different. You have a great product that you care about, and it's already like, even if those things are done well, it's still hard. Now throw like shitty pizza into the equation and fried broccoli bites and jalapeno poppers and all that other shit that people do. It's like you're not making anything. You're literally just getting stuff from Cisco, heating it up and selling it. How are you any different than the place down the street?
Yeah, well, I get invited to like so many of those food shows from like the vendors, and they are all the same. It's just all frozen, like
Yeah.
ready to fry stuff, and everyone's buying it, and that's what they're serving people.
Yeah. And like, listen, that stuff tastes good. I'm not going to say it tastes horrible, but if your business is that, you're going to have a hard time. You're going to have a hard time like growing because there's no way to say I'm different
Right.
unless you're really a character and then, you're really superior at marketing and be like, people
Yeah.
just follow you and gravitate to your personality. That's like maybe the only way that it would work.
I've seen that happening a little bit more and more lately. Like if you have like a really good personality, like you're able to also sell pizza. So like I think there's a couple of angles that you can really approach like your social media strategy and like what you're gonna rely on.
Yeah. There's some of those guys I've seen them on Instagram there. I don't want to name them by name, but I'm sure everybody else has seen them. Like they come in, they're like, they've become characters in their own
Yeah.
pizzeria, the way that they interact on Instagram and it's like a shtick and
Yep.
it definitely can work. Doesn't mean their pizza's good though. Now I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying that it doesn't mean like the product is good. So to me, that'll only work for so long because at some point that's going to become completely saturated and you can already see it where everybody's trying to do that. So when it
Yeah.
comes to the point, like you're basically doing on social media what you're doing with the products in your pizza shop. You're making it a commodity that everybody else can do as well. And once everybody catches on that they can do that, they'll start and then yours becomes diluted.
Yeah. No, I agree.
But if it's not a shtick and you really do have a good personality and you can do YouTube and TikTok, like that's different than making it like a persona.
Yeah. Well, I've like just started, I feel like putting myself as the face of the business on social media, and I struggle with that. Like you have to record a voiceover for a video, and it's like it just doesn't click. Like I'm very much in the moment. Like if I'm doing something with my hands, I can explain it and I can, I'll do a great job doing it. But
Yeah,
as soon as like the video's over and like I have to go hide in my car to film a voiceover for like a video, like it doesn't connect anymore,
I hear you.
you know? So, I struggle with stuff like that, but I just, what's the alternative? Like not trying, you
Yeah,
know?
for sure. I agree with you. I'm like, even me, my content is the way I make a living and it's still not easy for me. I'm with you. I'm not comfortable doing it. I'm
Yeah.
doing it because I have to do it and it's part of my job, but it's not something I'm super comfortable with. So I'm right there with you.
Yeah. Some people, it just comes natural. It's incredible.
Yeah,
But
they have a gift for it, right? Like you can tell the people who are gifted and like very good communicators and charismatic on camera without trying. They just have it.
yeah, not me.
Me either. I gotta work at it. It's something
Yeah.
I struggle with myself. But is Instagram the marketing tool that you guys are leveraging the most?
I think so. Everything that we put on Instagram, we put on TikTok.
Okay.
But I feel like TikTok, like it's kind of the younger generation, right? Like I feel like just the phase of life that I'm in, like starting a family, I think all the people that I resonate and connect with are probably using Instagram. The older generations are on Facebook. So like we do get people that come in and are like, you guys should market more on Facebook because that's where, we would see you. So we're
Yeah.
we're trying to do a better job cross platforms. But I would say majority is Instagram. Like that's where we do the best.
Would anybody from New York City drive to you?
We've had it, yeah. I mean, there are people that have come from New York City because there's a train station like 5 minutes walking distance from us. So we have gotten a few people from the city, but it's mostly New Jersey.
Okay.
But people travel. Like we get people from like well over an hour, 2 hours away that like come and eat our pizza,
So if that's
which
the
I
case,
never
then I
thought
would
in a
definitely
million
hop on.
years.
I would definitely go on TikTok.
Yeah,
TikTok's better to me than Instagram. Instagram's great, But TikTok's better at finding like-minded people, like finding
Yeah.
people without them having to follow you that would want to see or are interested in the style of pizza you're doing. To me, TikTok's better.
Yeah.
Instagram's good, but
The
TikTok's better.
the comment
Don't read
section
those.
on TikTok is a lot worse.
Yeah, don't read those. You gotta. The one thing
Yeah.
about so it is true. Facebook is like they can be a little sarcastic and nasty, but it's not as bad because they have to actually put their real name. And then
Yeah.
Instagram's a little better than a little worse than Facebook, but not that much worse. And then YouTube and TikTok are the complete trash of comments because you have it's total anonymity, and it's just the nature of those two platforms where people can just go on there and be nasty. So whenever I post a video to YouTube or I do something on TikTok, I like totally disregard the comments. I'm like, I like
You have to. Like we did a video about our pizza sauce, and I was like, we make it fresh every day, and then someone's like, how could it be fresh if it comes out of a can? And I'm like, what? Like, what do you think people are doing here?
Yeah.
You know, like you just get like these crazy like how do people even think of these things? But like they're groomed to like think of the craziest things to comment on TikTok.
It's almost like sometimes it makes the video do better, believe it or not. If like
Yeah, no, it does.
because like
I'm here for it. Like
when the people fight in the comments without you, it makes the video do better. Like I said I did a video on
because
TikTok.
it keeps playing in the background and people are like scrolling through
Exactly.
the comments. So like it works. I'm not, I'm here for it. Right.
The reason when I figured that out was I did a video with Rob from Talio Pizza, and I did a TikTok video, and I accidentally said in Long Island instead of on Long. I'm not from fucking Long Island. Like I didn't know. Like I just said in Long Island versus on Long Island, and the amount of comments I'm like, but that video got like 300,000 views, and I'm like,
Yeah.
maybe I should just say something wrong in every video. It'll get tons of views.
Yeah. That's a strategy.
Just be like, I'm just gonna say something to just piss somebody off in that area, and then they'll just start engaging in the comments, and that video will go viral. Because I don't care,
No. What do you have to lose?
right?
Yeah.
What's getting back to the business now? What's one thing that you wish you would have done differently in the beginning, or one piece of advice for someone who's looking to go from pop up to brick and mortar? Because there's a lot of people out there like that.
I think you just got to like trust your gut a little bit, like I would say like really think about what you want the business to do and like build a plan around it. Because when I wanted to transition from pop up to brick and mortar, like I put together a business plan. I was like, if I'm going to pay this amount of money in rent and I'm estimating my food costs to be this, how many pizzas do I have to sell to keep the lights on? And I came up with a number of 200 a day. And every pizzeria that I walked into to like try and network and just build a relationship and kind of tell them what I wanted to do, they would all be like, "You're crazy. You'll never. Maybe on a Friday you'll sell that many pizzas, but not during the week." And I mean, within 2 months of being open, like we're at our goal, right? So like, I think you kind of just have to have a little faith and like just work really hard to position yourself, whether it's through social media and finding other brands to help elevate you and get the message out there. But it's all, you have to have a plan. If you try to just do it like willy nilly, I think you'll have a harder time succeeding if you don't have like
how many pizzas a day are you doing?
Right now, we do about 200 a day.
Wow.
And then, Tuesday, Wednesday, we're a little shy of that, but Friday, Saturday, Sunday, like more than makes up for it. We did over like 1,000 pizzas this weekend alone. So it's,
Shit.
yeah,
That's a lot.
it's a lot
Are you
of
open
pizza.
7 days a week?
We're open 6 days a week, so we're closed on Mondays.
Got it. Yeah, I like that model too.
Yeah.
Because you need one day to refresh or clean up anything, or
Yeah.
fix anything.
It does a lot. And then like if there's ever any maintenance or like equipment that needs to be fixed, like it's having that off day really helps us.
Yeah. It just mentally too, it helps you. Like knowing Sunday that tomorrow we're closed. Like I don't have to worry about
Yeah.
anything tomorrow. Just mentally makes you feel
Yeah.
better. I remember we
But
used to
like
be open 7 days a week, 12 hours a day, and it was a lot.
yeah, I couldn't imagine that, you know. And I've gotten it to a place now where like I have a little bit more time and freedom throughout the week. I'm always here on the weekends, but you know, my focus now is to try to expand the business, right? Like, I it's the E Myth. The I don't know if you've read that book, but it's like you have
Yeah,
to
yeah.
work on the business, not in the business.
Yep.
And for like the first 8 months, I was really working in the business every single day, and that's also an interesting shift. Like to go from the person that like, you know, you're preparing all the sauces, you're you know the only person that knows the recipe for this. Everything starts to rely on you, and you know now it's all about systems and making sure that everybody has all the tools that they need to be able to carry all of the stuff out without me. But it took a lot to get there, and it's hard to learn to trust people.
True.
But without that, you know, I don't know how people would open more than one. You know, like
Yeah,
it's
yeah. I think you have to have trust. You have to trust, let them fail, but also know that no one's ever going to be you. I think a lot of owners make the
right.
mistake of wanting the manager to be you. And say you're 100%, like you're 100%. A manager's never going to get past like 90. And if they do, you better pay them whatever you can to keep them, because
Yeah,
if you're above a 90, like that's never going to happen. You got like a unicorn employee. Try to keep them. Everybody's going to be like a 75 tops, a good one, 80 tops. And that's going to be your average employee. But what happens is owners get mad because they want them to be 100. It's just not possible.
yeah, you have to be realistic in like your expectations, right? And you know, I think this is where my background in like talent acquisition and HR comes into play because, you know, I've had success keeping employees and investing in them to make sure that they have the tools that they need to be successful. And I know as I grow, it would like the thought of hiring a brand new general manager that's like never worked in a Bucky's before or knows what we're doing or how we do it feels risky to me. So
Yeah.
naturally, I think, you know, promoting from within and, you know, giving other employees like an opportunity to take on more responsibility. That's the way that I want to approach growth moving forward. So hopefully it works out.
I think you're on the right
We'll
path. I think
see.
you're making good
Yeah.
decisions. I mean, listen, I could be completely wrong and leading you in the wrong direction, but from my experience and all the people I've talked to, I think you're doing the right thing and you're headed in the right direction. So keep that going.
Thank you. I
I'm
try.
excited to see what you got going on too, because it sounds like, how long have you been open for already?
So Friday on Halloween was a year.
Oh, wow. You opened on Halloween?
Yeah,
Oh my goodness.
I had no choice. I was out of money. You know, like I spent everything I had. You know, my wife and I, we sold our house to make this work. Uh, I owe her more than anything. You know, like I don't know how I'll ever repay her. Maybe I'll strike it rich in pizza one day. But um, you know, there were days where in the pop up I'd come home and I would we'd sell 250 bucks, and it didn't cover the labor, the food, and you know there were times I wanted to give up, and she just told me to keep pushing. To have someone that believes in you that much is, you know, I think that's equally as important in the whole equation. Because I could have given up, you
Yeah.
know.
A supportive spouse is more important than like your business model, because
Yeah.
even me, like I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for my wife. Same thing. I started a fucking podcast about pizza 10 years ago when nobody in the pizza world knew what a podcast was.
Yeah.
And like, she's like, go for it. And I'm like, okay, I want to talk in the microphone remotely to people about pizza. And she's like, do it. And I'm like, if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't be here now. So I agree with you. Like
Yeah.
having a supportive spouse is so important.
Yeah. I mean, I had every reason to stop. So,
Well, I'm glad you didn't. I'm glad it's working. And I'm not only
yeah.
am I glad you didn't, but I'm glad you didn't quit, and I'm glad it's working for you.
Yeah. I think you cut out a little
Oh,
bit
sorry.
though.
I said I'm glad you didn't quit,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
and I'm glad it's working for you. because it seems like you're doing all the right stuff. So I'm excited.
Thank you.
Well, next time I'm in New Jersey, I'm gonna have to come in and do a video and see the operation if you don't mind.
Yeah. We might be under construction, but that's all good stuff, right? Like,
Well, let's make a
I
plan.
never
Let's make a
thought
plan for when you're not.
yeah, I never thought I'd outgrow like a pizzeria so fast, but like we only have the walk-in box is like 9 by 10. I can't hold enough dough to get through a weekend, so it's we gotta make some changes.
I mean, that's a better problem to have than having 2,400
It
square feet
is,
and being like, I can't sell enough pizza to pay for this.
yeah, yeah. No, everybody told me like that space is too big, and I believe them, but it's too small.
Cool. Where can people go say hello to you or follow you if they want to check you out online?
I would say the best place is Instagram, Bucky's NJ Pizza. It's Buckys. NJ is in New Jersey. And anything that we're doing is going to be on Instagram. So I think that's the best spot. And then, my wife, my sister-in-law, they're always checking DMs. So, we have multiple eyes there. So if you ever need to get in touch with us, that's the best way.
All right, cool. We'll link all that up in the description below this video or podcast, whichever if you're either watching it or listening to it. Dominic, thank you so much. Appreciate you joining me on the podcast, taking time out of your day. I know you got a lot going on, so it was great talking to you.
Likewise, and thank you very much for having me.
Thanks, Dominic, for joining me on the podcast. Thank you for listening. Don't forget to hit like, hit subscribe. And we're always looking for great stories and pizzerias to visit, whether that be joining me as a guest on this podcast or us going into your pizza shop and filming the layout, the design, the pizza, interviewing you in your own shop in our Pizzeria Insider series. Let us know where you're listening from, whether you're listening to this on the audio version. Leave a review. Tell us where you're listening from there. If you're listening on YouTube, leave a comment where you're listening from. What's the name of your pizza shop? Maybe we'll add you to the list. If we're in your area, we'll come say hello. Thank you so much for tuning into the podcast. We'll see you next time.